Hello, my name is Nancy. I work here as a counselor for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services. How can I help you today?
Well, my name is Amber Carson, and this is my new baby. He's only about 4 days old. His name is Doug. And at the hospital before we left, they did some kind of test, and they just gave me this paper, and it said that he was deaf, and I just don't know what to do. So they told me to come to your office.
Well, that's the right thing to do. So I'm going to give you some things to help you today. This information will help you with your baby. And with this program, you can develop a better understanding that will help you so much. And this isn't the only thing that they offer. There's other associations that will help you and your baby. There's, school programs. There's deaf and hard of hearing teachers that will teach your baby. We have mentors. And if you want, they'll teach you sign language. It's a special communication that your baby is going to need to develop. So what do you think about that? And I know it's overwhelming right now. And, it's hard to understand. But you came to the right place. You really did.
I'm really scared. I just don't know what to do. I've never even met a deaf person, and there's nobody deaf in my family, and there's nobody deaf in my husband's family. We just don't know what happened, and I don't know how to use that sign stuff, and somebody said don't sign with the baby, and I just want him to be able to hear my voice.
Your baby is 4 days old, right? Well, maybe you can wait a few months, like 1 or 2 months, go back, have another hearing test. And sometimes the first test, it'll say they're deaf. Later on, they'll have another screening, and ages up to 6 months, and their hearing will change. But you have to keep going and keep checking, as they grow. So how that test works, during the screening, they'll inject a sound wave into their ear, and it'll go up and through to their brain. And depending on how their brain responds to that sound, shows what
So
their
what
deafness
do
is.
how do I talk to my baby right now? I mean, he's nursing and things, but
You can still go ahead and talk to your baby. You can make noise. You can wave at him. You can speak. I mean, your baby can't hear, but you can go ahead and use your voice, your facial expression, your mouth. You can go ahead with that.
so the only way I can talk with my baby is to do what you're doing?
No, there's other methods. I mean, it's just not just sign, but there's facial expression, there's body movements. You can show him things. They have cute speech. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to take sign language classes. It might help if you read about oral, and there's also oral speech.
But if Doug is completely deaf and you do an oral method, is he going to hear anything, or would it be better to use some visual with him?
Yes, definitely use visual with your baby. Show him pictures and then the sign that matches. A lot of times, signing helps them to understand better than speech. Because, if you're speaking to him, he's not going to understand. But if you sign with him, he'll see that, and he'll respond back to you with sign. and then you can communicate better.
So you're saying that Dougie's going to be able to sign to me soon?
So it depends on, well, we need to set up a DMP, a deaf mentoring program. So a deaf person would come to your home, they'd sit with you, show you our program, you know, what we do, and then teach you some sign language. And then at the same time, be teaching your baby sign language. And you would be copying from us, and your baby would be doing the same, and y'all would learn how to communicate together. But it shouldn't just be you. It should be the whole family involved. That is really important for your baby's development in his language. He needs to learn as soon as possible. It doesn't matter if you're deaf or not. You need to go ahead and start learning language.
I think that's just really great. If someone could come to my house, because my husband, Jim, and I, we decided that Dougie should be at home. And so I have put in a leave of absence from my work for the first year. And could the mentor come at night? My husband works until about 3.
Oh, of course. Your mentor is going to be flexible with your schedule, and you guys can decide that together. So anytime that you name, you guys can negotiate and decide an appropriate time. But just make sure that it's not just you and the mentor. Make sure it's, you know, brothers, sisters, your husband, everybody together learning how to communicate with the baby.
I feel a little better. I just have one last question. So if other things come up and I mean, we don't know what to do in 6 months or a year or 2 years, is this a place where I can come to get more information, or can you just help me this once?
Yes. Anytime you have a question, you can come here. So I have some information that, you know, you can take home with you. So this is something that you can fill out as parents, you know, put all your information in. This is some information on deaf education and deaf children. And this has some answers to questions that you may have about deaf children. And this just tells you our promise to serve parents of deaf and hard of hearing children. And this just kind of gives you some information about what we do and how we're going to help your family and your son. It has some information about it, or some educational resources and some events that are going to happen. And this is just a program for parental support. And I can get you in contact with some other parents of deaf and hard of hearing children. You know, I can ask them if they'll contact you. I can give them your name and your contact information if that's all right, so they can contact you.
Oh yeah, this is so new to us. We're just not sure what to do. As I said, we have no deaf experience at all. And so this was pretty frightening when we found out. We just didn't know what to do. I mean, we love him because he's our son, but I want to be a good mom. We want to be good parents.
Of course, that is a completely natural response. Every parent goes through this. It's not just you, you're not alone. A lot of parents I see, they go through the same thing. And they end up becoming successful, and so will you.